Hi everyone, here's a great video on VLOOKUP function. I know personally the first time I was told to perform a VLOOKUP, uh, I was completely dumbfounded and intimidated and did not know what to do and where to start. It just seemed like such a obscure function, and it is until you finally find a purpose for it and you see it in action um, through an example that illustrates, what it's really for and what it's used for. Besides that, it just looks like a weird function that just has a lot of parts, a weird syntax, and just bewilders an Excel novice. But I'm here to tell you that it's a real simple function, and in this video I'm going to show you an application of it on a relatively small example, which I wish is how I was taught. Um, this example, though very simple, can easily be taken to a more complicated and bigger example relatively readily. So here we go. Here I've set up two main components of what you would want to look for when using a VLOOKUP function. Over here we have a lookup table, and I just labeled these in italic to just let you know that I'm just labeling it for learning purposes. Here in the lookup table we have certain values, red, green, and blue. Red's 5, green's 10, and blue's 15. Those are just arbitrary numbers for our example. Over here we have a main table. This main table, although it's right next to this the lookup table, does not necessarily have to be that way. It could be down here, it could be on another sheet, it could even be on another workbook, for all that matters. Over here we want to make a simple example, so you can take it from here and then apply it to any of those circumstances you may have. Here we have the main table, which would represent customers, sales, whatever it might be for any particular business application or any application for that matter. Over here you see in my main table I have products. Now what kind of products these are, it doesn't really matter. These are their price, because I just wanted to give a sense of a real life example. Here's a price, and here's the color of these products. Now our problem here, and the reason for us to even venture out to learn the VLOOKUP in this particular example, is that we have a column where we need to pull in the color codes for every one of these colors. Now this main table is only 11 products long, and you could say, yeah, that's pretty easy. I could just go in here and type in, for red I can type in 5 for the color code wherever I see red, and for green I could type in 10, and for blue I could type in 15, and it'll be done in a matter of minutes. But the fact of the matter is, when you have 20,000 lines of products or whatever it might be that you're referencing, this is definitely not a good way to go about it, just going through and typing this stuff in, especially when it's not so simple to type as a 5. It might be an account number with 20 strings of numbers. So now that you understand why I've created a small example to illustrate what can easily be extrapolated to a much larger, more complicated example, let's go ahead and key in the function and see how it works. So basically what we're doing, we start out every function with an equal sign, type in the VLOOKUP, open the parentheses, and Excel will kind of help you with the syntax of functions when you get to this point on any function. But from right here, I'll tell you, the first argument in this function is, what do you want me to look up? Now this can be a word you can actually type in there with quotations. It can be a number, or it could be a cell. In this case we're going to use a cell. So we're looking for F5 and comma to go to the next argument in the function. Next argument is where do you want me to look for this? And that will always be your lookup table, your reference table. Now I'm going to put this in absolutes, and I'll explain to you why. You'll see why I put the table in absolutes. Let me zoom out a bit so you can see this function as it's being written. Well, I guess it doesn't want to let me zoom out while I'm in the middle of a function, but you can see it's coming down here, and you could also see it up here in the function bar. So that's the table, and again it's in absolutes, and you'll see later why that is so. The next argument is going to be what do you want when I find red in this case? What I want is the second column. In this case we only have two columns. The first column will always be the column that it will look for. So you want to set up your lookup tables like that. The second column in this case is the only other column, is what we want. So we would just simply tell it 2. So it'll find red over here, then it'll go one column over, go to the second column of your lookup table and pull you that number. And the last argument is false. False simply just states that you want an exact match and not a close a close number or a word. That's usually not a problem with words. It is when you get into numbers, VLOOKUPs on numbers, and the other argument, as you would guess, would be true, and I'll show that on another video, how you would use a VLOOKUP function to look up numbers when you don't have a lookup table with every possible number, but you have it in buckets, so you want it to look for the closest number and get you that value. So anyway, for now we want exact matches, obviously, because these are distinct colors with distinct, easy spelled words. So we're going to go ahead and enter, and it's going to return to us the value of 5, which is what we expected, right? Now we can drag this formula down 1 and 5 again for red, another, and we expected a 10 and we got it. Now let's look at what happened over here. For the green, for example, it's looking up F7 because I did not put absolutes around F7, so when I pull that formula down, the F5 in this case, increased to F6, then to F7 by the time we got down three rows. Then the table, since I did put absolutes around it, as you can see, did not change, because we don't want it to change. We don't want that table to also move around. That table is an absolute reference, I put $signs around the table. And of course it's looking for the second column in the table, so it's giving us number 10. So now you understand why I put the absolutes around the table and not around the actual lookup value, the value we want to actually find in the table. So now I could drag this all the way down, and you can see for blue I'm getting 15, for red I'm getting 5, and for green I'm getting 10. Now again, as I said in the beginning of this video, you might not be able to see the true value of this function through this example, although this is a great learning tool. Once you apply this to a sheet where you have 50,000, 100,000 lines, rows of data, and you have to pull in certain information from another source, a database, another sheet, compiling other information on, let's say, accounts. You simply have to code it once at the top. It's not really code, right? You just put in the function in once at the top properly, test it by dragging it a couple down, making sure you're getting the right numbers, and then you're ready to drag it all the way down, or you can simply double click at the right hand corner where you would drag, and it'll go down all the way to 60,000, 100,000, and in the new Excel there's 1,000,000+ rows you can go up to. So then you could see the true value of this function, and you start to see what it's used for. It's a vertical lookup. You know, it's looking up vertically for these numbers that you have in rows, going down, up and down. I hope this video was of help to you with the VLOOKUP function. I know when I first had to learn this, I just learned it through trial and error, setting up sample little tables on a spreadsheet, a separate spreadsheet, until I was able to apply it to a much bigger and more complicated problem. Stay tuned for new videos to come, make requests, and check out my other videos on Excel formatting and Excel simulation. Thanks a lot. See you later.